We're going to continue working on multiplying and dividing radicals. I'm going to be working with number 10 on worksheet 11.3. So when we are trying to simplify a division problem with radicals, the first thing that we're going to look for is radicals and negatives in the denominator. So a reminder that in the denominator, you cannot have a negative or a radical. So we're going to get rid of both of those. So the first thing that I notice on this problem is that I have two radicals. I have radical or square root 2, and I have 5 times the square root of 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply by the conjugate. So in order to do the conjugate, I'm going to take the denominator, I'm going to write it exactly as I see it, and the only thing that I'm going to change is I'm going to make it addition. So the conjugate is the same denominator opposite math operation. So you'll notice that I had subtraction here, and now I have addition. Brother-sister rule says that whatever I do to the denominator, I do to the numerator. So now I'm going to multiply. And when I multiply with radicals, I box. So I'm going to take the 4 square root of 2, 5 square roots of 3. I'm going to take the 1 that is in front of the square root of 2 and multiply it times 4, which gives me 4. And I don't have a square root here, so this square root of 2 is going to stay the same. If I had a square root here, then I would be multiplying that as well. I'm going to take 5 times 4, which is going to be 20, square roots of 3. So again, I'm multiplying. I have radicals when I'm multiplying, so I'm going to box. That is in my numerator. Now I'm going to go down and do my denominator. For my denominator, I'm also going to box. So I'm going to take the square root of 2 from my first denominator, negative 5 square roots of 3 from my second denominator, square root of 2 from my second denominator. So I took the first 2 terms in my first denominator, square root of 2, negative 5 square roots of 2. Now I'm going to take the 2 terms in my second denominator and put them across my box. So square root of 2, positive 5 square roots of 3. So right here, this part of this problem is also helping you to practice just how to box 2 binomials that have radicals in it. So let's go ahead and do that. When we multiply, we're going to do the 2 square roots, and we're multiplying like parts. So this is going to be 1 big square root, and I'm going to take the 2 times the 2, multiply like parts. Now I'm going to take -5 times 1 is -5, and the square root of 3 times the square root of 2 just becomes 1 big square root, and I put the 3 and the 2 underneath it. Now I'm going to come up here. I'm going to take the 5 times the 1. Remember, there's a 1 here. I'm going to take 5 times 1, which is 5, times the square root of 2 times 3. Square root of 2 times the square root of 3. Then I'm going to do -5 times 5, which is -25, square root of 3 times square root of 3. All right, so again, what we've looked at is we did our conjugate first, found the opposite math operation. This was subtraction, this is addition. Brother-sister rule. Take my 2 numerators and multiply, so I put them in a box. Take my 2 denominators, multiply, put them in a box. Now we're going to take them out of the box, and as we take them out of the box, we're going to do prime factors. So over here we did box, and now we're going to do prime factors. So we're going to take our numerator, and it's going to be 4 square roots of 2 plus 20 square roots of 3 over square root of 2 times 2 plus 5 square roots of 2 times 3 plus -5 square roots of 3 times 2 minus 25 square roots of 3 times 3. Now we're looking to see refresh for a minute here because I'm not seeing my numerator show up, which we just took out of the box. So we'll see if we can get that to refresh so that we can see our numerator. While the computer's refreshing, we're looking for 2 numbers that are the same in each radical so that we can go fish. Okay, so let me rewrite. numerator that's not showing up for you so that you can see it. The numerator is 4 square roots of 2 plus 20 square roots of 3. Okay, so now we can see it. So now we're going to go fish. So in my numerator, 4 square roots of 2. I don't have anything in the radical that can come out, so that's simplified. Plus 20 square roots of 3. I don't have anything in this radical that can come out, so it's simplified. Down here in the denominator, I have 2 2's, so they're going to come out. Plus, I have a 2 and a 3. I don't have a pair, so that is 5 square roots of 6 plus negative 5 square roots of 6, because I have nothing to go fish here, minus 25, and I do have 2 3's, so they're going to come out and multiply times that negative 25. Now you'll notice here that these two terms cancel each other out. Now you could have also seen that those two terms cancel each other out up in the box here. And if you did see those two up here, then you don't have to write them down here. It'll be one less step. But remember that when we're taking everything out of the box, we make sure that we're checking for those prime factors that we can go fish with. So when I come down here and I've gone fish, I now have 4 square roots of 2 plus 20 square roots of 3 over 2 minus 75. So the 2 was left here, and the minus 3 times 25 is 75. 4 square roots of 2 plus 20 square roots of 3 divided by negative 73. Now, here's a part that I'm going to do a little differently so that it can maybe help a few of you understand. So this is really 4 square roots of 2 over negative 73 plus 20 square roots of 3 over negative 73. This can be broken down into two different fractions, just like we did when we did quadratic. But the tricky part here is that when we break it down into two fractions, we can only simplify by the same exact thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look and say, what is the GCF of 4 and negative 73? And that GCF or GCD is going to be negative 1. And what's the GCD of 20 and negative 73? So the GCD is going to be negative 1. As long as these two GCDs are exactly the same, then we can take them out. So that means negative 1 would come out of this, and it would be 73, which is good because I can't have a negative in the denominator. And negative 1 out of 4 would give me negative 4. Negative 1 out of negative 73 would give me 73. And negative 1 out of 20 would give me negative 20. Now I put them back together. And what's important here is that the two denominators have to be identical to put them back together. So 73 is identical. Negative 4 square roots of 2 minus 20 square roots of 3 is going to give me my answer. So the way that would be written would be negative 4 square roots of 2 minus 20 square roots of 3 divided by 73. So those would be the two answers to that problem. Now, let's just go back and let's pretend like we got an answer that said 4x cubed square roots of 3 minus 6x squared square roots of 2 all over negative 20x. So let's pretend that was the answer that we got and we had to simplify it. So again, we would break it down and we would do 4x cubed square roots of 3 over negative 20x, and we would do plus negative 6x squared square roots of 2 over negative 20x. So remember, we're pretending like this was the last part or the last answer to a question, but then we were going in and checking for our GCDs. So let's look at these two. Our GCD over here would be negative 4, because negative 4 goes into 4 and negative 20. And we can simplify by an x. They both have at least one x, so our GCD would be negative 4x. But when we come over here and we look at our GCD is going to be positive 2x. Sorry, that's going to be negative 2x because negative 2x comes out of both of them. So our problem is that our two GCDs don't match. So what we have to do is we have to figure out the GCD of negative 4 and negative 2. So the GCD of negative 4 and negative 2, when they don't match, is negative 2. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to take out a negative 2x. So now let's see what happens. So negative 2 goes into positive 4 negative 2 times, and negative 2 goes into negative 20 10 times. Where do I have more x's? On the top. How many more do I have? 2. And the square root of 3 was already simplified, so that doesn't change. Plus negative 6 divided by negative 2 is 3. Negative 20 divided by negative 2 is 10. Where do I have more x's? On the top. How many more do I have? 1. Square root of 2 was already simplified when we went go fish. Now you're going to notice that I have the same denominator, which is good because I have to put this back together. So draw my my fraction line, put in my denominator, and it's negative 2 x squared square roots of 3 plus 3x square roots of 2. That would be written negative 2 x squared square roots of 3 plus 3x square root of 2 all divided by 10. That's how you multiply and divide radicals.